YouTube, what's happening? It's your boy in the Galactic Brew, man. Just want to come on here and you know, just tell y'all a little bit about what I thought of Week 1 in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? It was real exciting to say the least. It was some history made. It was some pleasant and unexpected surprises. So I think the fans got their money's worth this go around for the start of the season. At least I know I did. Real quick, I just want to talk about a few of the games before I touch on one of last night's games that I really enjoyed was the Bengals and the Ravens, but I'll get to that in a second. Um, you know, every game that I predicted, I got most of them right, but some, that I did predict, I really didn't expect for teams to win like they won, especially the teams that I picked to lose. But anyway, be that as it may, um, let's see, Tennessee and New England. New England really surprised me. The defense was on. Tom Brady showed that he ain't no hoe. He can take punishment and still come back and score for his team. So big ups to New England. Tennessee, y'all boys got to get it together, man. I mean, I understand this is Jake Locker's first official year as y'all starting QB, but y'all can't be letting even an elite team like the Patriots come into y'all backyard
Threat has been detected
and just completely own y'all like they did. Y'all are a better team than that, and hopefully y'all will learn from that. It's another game I had broke down. Oh yeah, Indianapolis and Chicago. Again, another learning experience for Andrew Luck. I mean, I'm not gonna be too hard on him because he is a rookie and a very good rookie at that. Like I told y'all in the previous videos, that team is on the rebuild. They're trying to find their foundation with their young players and all their draft picks that they just got, and plus they got a new coaching staff and all that other good stuff. So they'll learn from that. They're gonna be a nice little team. I think with the talent that they have combined with the few veterans that are still there like Freeney, Mathis, and Wayne. I think they'll be all right going forward. So, but yeah, man. I mean, the Chicago Bears. What can I say? They've been reborn, as the old cliche would go. I mean, they got Brandon Marshall, a big target on offense. They got a new offensive coordinator. The defense is still playing at the highest level it's ever played. So Chicago's looking good right now. I think they have a very good chance of winning their division this year. With that division, the NFC North, especially the performances that the Bears division rivals put on Sunday. And speaking of which, I want to touch on the San Francisco Green Bay game. Green Bay really disappointed me. I really thought Green Bay was going to come out with a vengeance or a fury. I thought Aaron Rodgers was just going to be lighting up that San Francisco defense, but apparently that wasn't the case. I really don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers these days, man. It's kind of like he's lost a little bit of his spunk and a little bit of his his confidence and his charisma. Usually Aaron Rodgers plays with a lot more enthusiasm, and a lot more confidence. But I don't know, man. I guess those two losses at the end of the season, kind of took a little bit of the wind out of his sails, so to speak. But yeah, man, the Packers, they got to do better than that. But you know what? Give credit to the 49ers. They came to play. They came to make a statement. They came to prove to the world that they are indeed a Super Bowl contender. And Alex Smith, that dude gets better with time. I don't know what Jim Harbaugh has done or said to him, but his confidence is sky high. I mean, the way he played Sunday, he looked like, he could be an elite quarterback already. I mean, I'm not trying to build him up too fast, but I'm just saying the way he played Sunday, he looked like he could. I mean, if you didn't know that he was that bad his previous years, you would have thought he was an elite quarterback already. But he certainly played like one Sunday. So, big ups to Alex Smith. And that defense was awesome. They totally kicked butt. That defense has been
threat has been detected.
Rejuvenated too. With that new coaching staff, they've done wonders with that team. I mean, I gotta applaud San Francisco. They have really come a long way. Because the past couple of years that I've seen them, boy, I'm not gonna even go there. But anyway, great job to the 49ers. Especially going into a very difficult place to play like Lambeau Field. So much history. The crowd is always jacked. That's a very difficult place to win. But, they came in focused and came in with a purpose, and they served it. The defense was harassing Aaron Rodgers like nobody's business. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers pressured that much, sacked that much, ever. Usually Aaron Rodgers would find a way to extend plays, but their defensive front did a good job of closing the pocket numerous times. Using all different types of blitzes and stunts and all this other stuff. I mean, they did their thing. San Francisco, they're a team to be reckoned with now. You can't really call them the phony Niners and all these other names that people used to call them before. They're in the mix now. And going back to the offense looked great. They were able to get the run going. I know they were one back short of Brandon Jacobs, but obviously that doesn't hurt them too bad because they still got Frank Gore, Kendall Hunter, Dixon, and of course LaMichael James. Although I think he's still out with an injury too. But the run game looked great on Sunday. It was awesome. As well as the passing. The passing attack was great. Randy Moss got another history-making touchdown. Vernon Davis got a touchdown. Frank Gore scored 2 vicious touchdowns on the ground. So San Francisco, looks like a championship team. They really do. I really think they've got the potential to win it all. The question is whether they will or not. That remains to be seen. But going on to another NFC North rival, the Detroit Lions and the St. Louis Rams. The Detroit Lions, they're slightly overrated, I believe. They are a good team. I will give them that. I mean, the offense is good, defense is solid. But I think people are kind of building them up based off of last season, which was a very good season for them. They made it to the playoffs for the first time. But I think people are getting a little bit too excited. And I think they're giving this team too much credit than they really deserve. But make no mistake about it, they are a dangerous team. I have no question about that. But Sunday, I mean, to be honest with you, they should have, wore out the St. Louis Rams. No disrespect, but I felt like Detroit was the better team. And they did win the game, but it's just that it should have been closer than it was. But the bottom line is they did win the game. They struggled for most of the for most of the game, but you know, around the second half, close to the last quarter, they got things together. I mean, you know, if they want to be like a real contender in the NFL, they can't be, you know, playing down to their competition like that. I'm just saying. But they still are a good team, though. I mean, I like, you know, Matt Stafford. Megatron is good. You know, Job at best. You know, that whole offense is good. You know, but they just can't be playing down to the level of their competition. That's all I'm saying. Another game. Speaking of slightly overrated teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns again. You know, the Philadelphia Eagles struggled through most of the game. Michael Vick threw darn near 5 interceptions, but I guess in the books it'll count as 4. But from the highlights that I saw, it should have been 5. But be that as it may, the Eagles survived, and Vick was able to get the game-winning score that sealed the deal. Again, another case with the Eagles. You know, people are basically building this team around Vick and Nnamdi Asomugha. That's pretty much it. Without those two respective players on offense and defense, this team wouldn't really be as good as people say they are. I mean, granted, they've got a excellent offense. You know, they've got a good receiving core with Maclin, Avant, Selleck, Jackson, McCoy. You know, their defense is a top 5 defense. Offense. They're top 5. I will give them that. There's no denying that. But they're still overrated. You know, I think, you know, people, you know, that's the thing with these analysts. They get so excited because, you know, they have like a good game or 2 or 3 here and there, and that's their perception. But the Eagles, in my opinion, still have a ways to go, as does every team in the NFL. But anyway, but they get the win against the Cleveland Browns. You know, the Cleveland Browns, they just can't get right for some reason. You know, I think that whole coaching staff needs to be changed. You know, they need to go after more impact players in that organization, because as long as they you know, stick with what they have, I'm not saying, you know, change around the whole team, but just add a couple of players here and there on offense and defense, because I'm telling you, man, as long as they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to be probably the worst team in the NFL ever. And there's a lot of horrible teams in the NFL, but they're going to be in that number if they you know, they don't get something together soon. I mean, granted, they lost some of their impact players, like I think Evan Moore is gone. I think Jordan Cameron is gone. Of course, Peyton Hillis left. So I mean, they've lost some people, you know. But you know, like I said, either in the draft or whatever, they need to go after some impact players if they ever want to progress. So that's pretty much that. What was another game? Oh yeah, Houston and Miami. I pretty much called that game before it even happened. I could close my eyes and visualize what the ending of that game was going to be. I mean, you know, Houston just completely mauled the Dolphins in every phase. The Dolphins, you know, much like the Cleveland Browns, are a team that really can't get right either. Because number one, they don't know what their offense, they really don't know how to situate their offense. The only thing they really got going for them is defense, just like last year.
Threat has been detected.
I mean, it's either people getting injured, you know, They don't pick up good receivers. Okay. And the quarterbacks. But, I mean, I will say that the quarterback situation for Miami has been good this year. But at the same time, Ryan Tannehill does not have good targets to throw to. I mean, granted, they have what's his name, Brian Hartline and Devon Best or whatnot, but that's pretty much it. I mean, and they got a little run game too with Bush and Thomas, but after that, I mean, you know, oh yeah, also they've got you know, Anthony Fasano, but I mean, that's not going to be enough. I mean, you've got to have good running backs, a good tight end, a good and good receivers. So, I mean, I don't know. But anyway, bottom line is they got mauled defensively and offensively by Houston, which I expected. So, there you have it. You know, Miami really needs to get their shit together in a hurry. Let's see. Any other games that are worth talking about before I go to New Orleans and Washington? Oh yeah, Tampa Bay and Carolina. Who cares? I really don't. But Tampa Bay apparently put it on Carolina. It really doesn't matter to me. You know, Tampa Bay is, you know, they're all right. You know, but that's pretty much it. I mean, Carolina's the same way. I mean, their offense is good, no question. I mean, you know, they've got Cam Newton and everything, and they got some pretty good receivers and tight ends or what have you. But that's pretty much it. I mean, their defense is mediocre or average, I would say at best. You know, so that's really all I got to say about that game. Now, going on to the game that everybody's talking about, the Redskins versus the New Orleans Aints. I thoroughly enjoyed it. To tell you the truth, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not only because I'm a Falcons fan, but also because I saw a lot of Aints video makers on here this season, you know, just basically talking all this cash money stuff, saying that they were going to win it all at home. Not. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I really ain't got to say too much, man. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Y'all saw what happened. I mean, you know, RG3 put up close to 300 on them. You know, the defense was basically punking Drew Brees and, you know, that offense out for the most part. I mean, they scored a couple of times, yeah, but I mean, you know, whatever. The Redskins still went in there and punked them out. So that's what's up. They're 0-1. My Falcons are 1-0. So there you have it. Let's see. The Pittsburgh Denver Broncos game. That was a really physical game.
Threat has been detected.
That was a real physical, hard-hitting game. You know, the Denver Broncos, they stood their ground against the best defense in the NFL. Peyton Manning looked like himself. You know, it looks like he hadn't lost a step. So it apparently seems like things are okay in Denver, and they're not missing Tim Tebow too much. So there you go. Tracy Porter did his thing. I was real surprised about that. Got a couple of clutch interceptions towards the end of the game. The Pittsburgh defense struggled at times, you know, as well as the offense too. So, you know, but whatever. I mean, it was a good game. The Denver Broncos ended up pulling it out in a hard-fought victory. So there you go. But anyway, that's it. Next video I'm going to be doing is my preview for the Falcons and the Broncos. So until then, y'all stay tuned. Peace.